Nearly 1 year ago, in November 2024, I was sent the pre-consumer release version of the GK3 Pro to share my thoughts, warts and all, in a video. I think it's fair to say that the review didn't go exactly smoothly, with hardware issues, bizarre cosmetic decisions and printing faux pas, and add to this, it was a time where UniFormation were experiencing some internal challenges, delivery failures, damaged units, and to put it bluntly, it was not a good time for them. And my observations and suggestions were documented in the video that I'll link in the description. Now, nearly 1 year later, UniFormation have asked me again to review the GK3 Pro, but this time the consumer version. That's the version you will get arriving at your door swaddled in cardboard should you choose to buy one. But have UniFormation listened? And more importantly, is this printer the green beast that was envisioned 12 months ago? Stay tuned. Before we start, let's just have a look at exactly what is the GK3 and the range. Well, this is one of the triad of UniFormation's latest flagship resin green 3D printers, all in the same family. The GK3 is the base model. It uses a 405nm UV light source paired with a 16K monochrome LCD screen and a build volume of 211/118x240. It's got smart resin feeding, intelligent heating and the usual resin vat plus NFEP film. Now the GK3 Pro, the one we are reviewing today, upgrades several of these components. It switches to a 385nm UV light source, which has shorter wavelength and better detail control. We'll talk about it a bit more later. It replaces the MFEP with CPFA film. Includes a high transmittance screen. It adds refinements also, like the more durable screen, a stronger light transmission. Its build volume remains the same as the GK3 and about $170 more expensive than the basic GK3. It's the one I'm going to be focusing on today. The bigger brother in the range, the GK3 Ultra, scales things up for larger prints. It has a much bigger build volume, 300x160x300mm, a larger LCD screen, of course, at 13.5 inches, and it retains many of the Pro's features like we spoke about: auto resin feeding, heating, quick release design, etc., but trades off somewhat in XY resolution. Still very good though, although slightly larger pixel size due to the bigger screen, as you would expect. It's a much larger machine, has a bigger power draw, and this one is the largest and the final of the three in the GK3 range. But let's go back to the GK3 Pro. So let's start with the GK3's arrival. I am happy to report that the delivery and packaging were on point, with no visible damage to either the sturdy cardboard package or the printer, which was swaddled in protective foam. When you first unbox the GK3 Pro, this green machine immediately feels like a premium product. There's no plasticky frame or flimsy shell, nothing like that inside. This thing is built solid and it shows. The chassis is made of a full metal enclosure, giving it a sense of heft and rigidity. It doesn't rattle, it doesn't flex, and it definitely doesn't feel like a budget printer. There's a real sense of structural integrity here. Well, so far, so good. One of the most impressive aspects of the build is the movement system, especially the Z-axis. UniFormation went with the 1204 ball screw and the dual EGH20 linear rails for vertical movement, which is frankly overkill, but in a good way. That level of precision and support on the Z-axis means you get no virtual wobble at all, and layers stay perfectly aligned even during tall or complex prints. The print bed glides smoothly up and down without chatter or slop, which is exactly what you want when you're working with high resolution 16K layers. There's just no room for mechanical wibble wobble when you're printing at that level of detail, and it seems that the GK3 Pro has got it right. The screen housing and internals are also well protected. The LCD panel itself is sandwiched between a screen protector, which is fitted at factory, and a sturdy undercarriage, so you're not just one drip of resin away from disaster. The UI touchscreen is snappy and built into the front of the machine, and this section tilts upwards, so if you're looking down to the machine, maybe it's on the bottom row at your print farm, you can still see the screen clearly. The on-off button and USB port are conveniently located on the front of the printer. The pre-release version, the on-off switch was around the back, so this is a welcome return to GK normality. The door feels fairly solid, the hinges feel firm, and it seems to block stray UV light while giving you a clear view of the print in progress, as does the internal light, which allows you to see clearly what's going on. I noticed early on as well that this thing is quiet during operation. The fan noise seems minimal and there's no annoying high-pitched buzz from the UV light source, which is something you can get in cheaper models. The GK3 Pro includes an easy-to-fit carbon filter designed to absorb resin odours and those nasty little TVOC things during printing. The filter, which magnetically attaches to the printer's rear, uses activated carbon media and is typically recommended for periodic replacement. UniFormation suggests a filter lifespan of around 2 months under regular use, and I'm happy to say replacements are readily available on the UniFormation website. Now, the build volume is okay on the 3 Pro. It's the same as the GK3 at 210, 120 by 240, but I have to note here that it's smaller than its predecessor, the GK2, in every dimension. To help with temperature consistency, the GK3 Pro features an intelligent auto heating system that warms resin to an optimal printing temperature before starting a job, making it especially useful in colder environments where the resin viscosity, its thickness, can cause print failures. It activates automatically when ambient temperatures drop, preheating resin even in conditions as low as 5 degrees, and typically reaches target temperature within about 35 minutes. Now, this helps ensure consistent layer curing, better adhesion and smoother prints without the need for external heaters. While it has a short delay before printing and could potentially introduce thermal artifact if ambient temperatures fluctuate wildly, the system overall improves reliability, especially for users printing in garages, basements, or like me, in a glorified summer house man cave. I'm happy to see the familiar, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, GK2 styly build plate is back with its quick release one-handed knob-free clamp. Back too is the handy grooved rim that catches those stray resin drips, and a neat little drip function groove on the main chassis to facilitate drainage of precious resin back into the vat. Happy to say, on this version, the lid closes completely with the drip tray in drip mode, a fix on the pre-release version, so a tick here for listening UniFormation. There's no automatic bed levelling, which might turn some people off, but it's not hard to do if you've ever levelled a resin printer before, although it should be level from the factory, and in my case it was, so I didn't need to do that dreaded levelling. But in a day where 99% of the other printers are auto levelling to some degree or other, this one doesn't offer that, but it shouldn't be a major drama. Let's talk about the resin vat on the GK3 Pro, because while it might not look much at first, it's one of those more thoughtful designed parts of the printer. First off, the vat holds up to 800 millilitres of beautiful resin, which is more than enough for most mid-sized prints. What really stands out is how easy it is to remove and install. Unlike some other resin printers that require you to unscrew ugly knobs, the GK3 Pro uses a quick slide mechanism. It just slides into place and locks with a simple finger push, making cleaning and resin swaps much less of a hassle. The included vat comes also with a fitted lid, which protects the resin from dust and UV exposure when not in use. That might sound like a small feature, but if you've ever left a vat exposed in sunlight, even just for a second, you know how quickly things can start to cure unintentionally and leave you with a headache and a problem. Now, underneath the surface is where it gets very interesting. Instead of using the standard FEP film, the GK3 Pro's vat comes equipped with CPFA release film. This stuff is supposedly more durable and provides better release characteristics, which is critical, of course, when you're printing with high detail 16K resolution. Less adhesion to the film means a smoother peel process, fewer failures, and a longer lifespan for the film itself. The resin vat is integrated with the printer's auto refill system. There's a sensor that monitors the resin levels inside the vat before each print, and if it's too low, the system will top it off automatically using the resin cartridge that you insert into the top of the printer. That kind of automation really helps when you're running long prints or large models where running out of resin halfway through could ruin your whole job. The GK3 Pro is equipped with an integrated camera that enables real-time monitoring of the printing processes and facilitates that time-lapse function that we all seem to love. I'm happy to say additionally the camera supports integration with the UniFormation Smart app, enabling remote control and monitoring capabilities. This integration enhances usability and provides users with a sat-in-the-armchair ability to check on their prints both day and night, as the light inside helps you check it when the outside area is dark. Now, just going back to that 385 nanometer light source we spoke of earlier, the main difference between the 385 nanometer that the GK3 Pro uses and the 405 nanometer UV wavelengths is how they interact with resin. 385 nanometer light has a shorter wavelength which allows it to cure resin more efficiently and with greater precision. The result is sharper details, smoother surfaces and less light bleed, making it ideal for higher resolution applications and especially clear resins. 405 nanometer, the more common wavelength, is supported by most consumer grade printers and resins, but it may produce slightly softer details due to its broader light spread. From a slicer perspective, you have quite a few options. The UniFormation slicer of course will work with the GK3 Pro, and this will have some built-in profiles and resin profiles for you to choose from. If Chitu Box is your slicer of choice, then rest assured that the GK3 Pro is fully compatible with Chitu Box 2. And again, all the profiles are catered for as you would expect. If Lychee or Lychee is your slicer of choice, then again you can use that quite happily with this machine. So whichever slicer is your slicer of choice, they will all work with the GK3 Pro. Here I'm going to be using Chitu Box to just slice a Lara Croft file to send it across to the GK3 Pro, and one of the things I like here using the Chitu Manager is that I can send the file wirelessly across to my GK3 Pro, or if you would prefer to do it the old-fashioned way on a USB stick, there is a USB slot at the front of the machine just under the liftable screen. Now, once you've pressed print on the machine and the file is copied across to the machine's very own hard drive, the resin auto feed will feed the resin in, the heater will heat that resin to the desired temperature, and then the printing process will begin. Who doesn't love a good time lapse? When everything is printed, you'll be happy to hear that the results were pretty darn perfect. Everything that I sent to the printer has appeared on the build plate, which is all you can ask at this stage of 3D printing. I've popped it on the side to let it drain before getting the components off the build plate via the medium and encouragement of the metal spatula that comes with it. Once everything had been cleaned for about 10 minutes in IPA and just given a little heat with a hairdryer, the supports literally just fell away. No issues at all with support removal, and once all the supports were off and the model was clean and cured, let's have a closer look at it. So like any 3D print, some cleanup is going to be required to remove some of the supports and some of the support divots that are left behind. That's perfectly normal in 3D printing. As you can see here on this Lara Croft model by Wicked, I've done a little bit of that removal, but I still need to do quite a bit more. But I think you'll agree with me, the detail, especially there in her face and with the little strands of hair, is there. We've got the Captain America bust also from Wicked. Again, this is printed really lovely. I've done just the tiniest bit of cleanup on this, but there's still some supports to be removed and a few of the little marks to be taken away, but I think you'll agree again that the quality is definitely there. And one thing I did notice with these two prints is they printed really quickly, just literally about 3 hours or so each print, and they were done. Now in forthcoming videos I'll be using the GK3 Pro to produce some more prints, and we'll look at other kinds of resins including clear resins, but for now I just wanted to show you the basic results that I got on my first 2 prints with no messing, no resin exposure tests, just using their very own resins. Of course, it's not all perfect. Let's talk about the things that held this printer back for me. First, the manual bed levelling. For a printer in this price range, I really wish UniFormation had included some kind of assisted or automatic levelling. Now, it's not a deal breaker, but it does add some friction and nervousness for the new user. Mine did arrive pre-levelled, however, but may in the future require manual levelling. Secondly for me was the firmware updates. Now I use a plethora of 3D printers from various manufacturers, and the GK3 Pro and Ultra were the only ones that needed a manual update via running backwards and forwards to the machine with a USB stick. Although the UI shows automatic updates, this does not yet seem to be supported and so is a little outdated. The auto feed system is a great idea, but worked for me only about 75% of the time. I had problems on the pre-release version too, where the auto feed would not stop, so risked overspill. Thankfully, on this consumer version, I didn't have that problem, and it did auto cut off when the sensor was reached. It was just a bit janky to get working, but as long as the resin bottle was in tight, with the lid open, the vat securely in place with the catches securely pushed forward, it worked okay. I perhaps just need to regain my confidence in the system that this isn't going to tsunami the mancave with resin, and if I'm honest, I probably won't be using it, but then again, with an 800ml vat for what I print, I probably don't have to. Finally, the price. This is not a budget printer with a price tag just north of $800. It's aimed at more professionals or very serious hobbyists. If you're just printing minis for your next D&D campaign once a month, this might be more printer than you actually need. The consumer version of the UniFormation GK3 Pro is an improvement for sure. It's an ambitious resin 3D printer that combines high-end features like a 16K mono LCD, auto resin feeding, a built-in heating system and app connectivity into a sleek, green, well-constructed package. When everything is dialed in, it produces prints with outstanding detail and consistency, but at a price. That said, it isn't without compromises: manual firmware updates, manual levelling, auto feed quirks. It doesn't offer resin vat debris detection or print foul monitoring as some similar price models do, which is disappointing. The GK3 range itself is also a little busy, with quite a few to choose from before you even get to the GK3 Pro. For hobbyists with deep pockets and professionals who value precision and don't mind some fine-tuning, the GK3 Pro is a powerful tool that can deliver excellent results for sure. But newcomers to resin, especially those on a budget, may find the learning curve to be a drawback compared to the more cost-effective entry-level options that are available. If you've enjoyed this review and you feel the GK3 Pro is right for you, I'd appreciate it if you use the affiliate link in the description. That way, a little commission will find its way back to the channel at no extra cost to you. While you're there, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and let me know in the comments your thoughts, the good, the bad and the ugly, about the GK3 Pro. Thank you to my patrons, and if you want to join the Greedy 3D Patreon, details will be in the description. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming GK3 Pro videos, other printer reviews and general 3D printing mayhem. And thank you for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.